The story of nutrition, I guess, goes back to the surgeon James Ling, who sailed with Captain Cook, who found that if he fed citrus fruits to the crew, they didn't get scurvy. So we knew there was something in there that had an effect. And in time, this particular thing became known as vitamin C. It was actually isolated for the first time by a Hungarian scientist called Gorgi. But when Gorgi isolated this active ingredient from peppers and from citrus, he found that it was not so nearly as effective as it was when it was part of the whole food. Indeed, he got a crystalline white powder which he called ascorbic acid, that never occurs in nature. The patent rights were sold to a pharmaceutical company and they marketed ascorbic acid as vitamin C. And that's how you and I and everybody else understands vitamin C, as ascorbic acid or variations thereof. But for the rest of his life, Gorgi said it isn't vitamin C, it's only part of the whole complex. And ascorbic acid not only isn't very well absorbed or tolerated by the body, but it's flushed out in a very short time. In fact, if you take a gram, you'll be lucky to absorb 20% of that. Then along came a very bright pupil of Gorgi, a chap called Andy Soleil. And he went over Gorgi's work and he thought, if nature has a way of growing these various chemicals into the growing orange, because we then extract them, is there a way that we can replicate nature? And he came up with the principle which we call the food state principle. So instead of sitting in an orange grove and waiting 6 months for oranges to ripen to get your quota of vitamin C, we simply get the ascorbic acid, introduce it to citrus pulp, and by associating the two together in a very clever way, we end up with a citrus vitamin C in a food form. We then dry it, powder it, and present it in a tablet. You can take it away from food and you can still absorb it, and it has the same characteristics as vitamin C as part of the citrus if you bought it as an orange. It will be absorbed, utilised and retained for far longer than conventional supplements. Not only that, it can still be measured working in the body 24 hours later. It's a truly remarkable product.